Ocasio Cortez can't run, but she's a big part of 2020 race. Washington UAO could stand for all. For better or worse, Republic. Alexandria Ocasio. Just 3 months into her new life in Congress, Ocasio Cortez, 29, is already a coveted influencer. Democratic national politics. Democratic Breaking. The metrics tell some of the story, while the new congresswoman tells hers. You down to soup cooking on Instagram, you on every platform and television talk show. Ocasio Cortez is known by most Americans despite being on the job just a few months. She's even got an analysis in February also found that the new congresswoman is polarizing, which would be important to presidential candidates seeking to energize Democratic voters and draw support from undecided or moderate ones. Ocasio Cortez has become better known since she was sworn in February. A Gallup poll found nearly 7 in 10 expressing an opinion, compared with about half who did in September. But as she's become, it's Ocasio Cortez's social media mastery gives her much of her power, both by the numbers of followers and a special sauce of coveted authenticity and know-how. In the last half of February, her handle was mentioned 3.64 million times on Twitter, more than those of the two leaders of Congress, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi 1.22 million and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell 696,000, combined. Since she took off long before Trump's supporters chanted her initials, Ocasio Cortez had vexed them. Some Republican, the Green New Deal offers a powerful, but risky, draw for Democrats eager to prove their bona fides on climate change. All 6 senators, but Republicans have been eager to exploit the risks and potential Democratic divisions on the issue, casting it as a step toward socialism and the worst of costly, big government policies. None of the Democrats, within 48 hours of Klobuchar's presidential campaign announcement, as she aimed for a more moderate lane, the Minnesota Democrat was forced to explain her backing for the non-binding agreement. This week, Senate Republicans forced a vote on the non-binding resolution in an effort to put the Democrats on record on what Majority Leader Mitch McConnell called something out of a. Instead of voting for the GND, 43 Democrats, including the presidential candidates who co-sponsored the resolution, voted present. In Grand Rapids, Michigan, Thursday night, Trump smirked that there was more to come. Associated Press writer Hannah Fingerhut contributed to this report. Follow Kelman on Twitter at http://www.twitter.com/AploryKelman.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.